Welcome to your Yin Flow. Feel the deep relaxation as we surrender our mind, body, and spirit to the present moment. And when you're ready, let's meet on our mats. Let's begin on our mat, kneeling down, placing the hands on the thighs, palms facing up, beginning to connect with your breath, following it as it comes in and goes out. Use this time to set an intention for your practice. We begin to lift the hands on the inhale and exhale, bring them back down beside you. Inhale again to bring the hands up. And on your exhale, reach forward as you extend the arms to the mat. Placing the palms on the ground, begin to rest your forehead on the mat. Come into a comfortable child's position here. As we begin our practice, we want to make sure that the position we're in is as comfortable as possible. It's so comfortable that we're able to release, that we're able to surrender to the posture and forget everything else. Feel the crease on your forehead as it rests on the mat. Really observe your body in this position where it lays on the mat or the earth and the connection you feel. Does your body feel heavy or stagnant or perhaps full of fire and full of energy? As you follow the breath and you continue to take deep inhales and exhales, see if on the exhale you can sink a little bit deeper. You can sink the hips a little bit deeper. Is it possible? Also pay attention to where your mind goes. And if you think about many different things, or if you're able just to focus on your breath. Just sit here quietly, leaving everything else behind, focusing on that one intention and that breath. It is very easy for our mind to wander when we sit still. If you need to make any adjustments, like bringing the arms to the side, feel free to do so at any time. Still remaining in your child's posture and releasing a little bit more each time. Still allow the breath to fill up the whole body, even in these postures. So filling up the lower belly, the rib cage, and the chest, equally distributing the prana. We will use this time, this practice, to release anything that's not serving us. Slowly begin to come out of the asana by inhaling the hands up. at your own pace. Slowly lift the hips to come into a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Shavasana. Your body may feel a bit stiff there. If that's the case, pedal out the legs. Do whatever you need to do to move that energy. Throughout this practice, we will be doing a variation of poses, of yin poses, where we hold each posture for around 3 to 5 minutes. Begin to release your knees to the mat, crossing your ankles and sitting down. Extending your legs directly out on the mat. Sitting up tall and inhaling to find length in your spine. As you exhale, folding over your legs. Allowing the hands to release beside the legs, maybe on the shins, maybe past the feet, or behind the soles of the feet. Whatever serves you right now, whatever feels comfortable. Keeping the spine long and allowing your chest to drop a little bit lower as you fold and hinge from the hips. Keeping that steady pace of your breath flowing, and using this time to go a little deeper, to find release. In these uncertain times we are living in, it is quite easy to feel out of control, to feel like everything is going wrong. But when you begin to trust in the process, in the feeling, in the emotions, you begin to understand that everything is constantly changing and evolving. And that we can use this time to dig a little deeper, to find out more about ourselves, about how we react. If at any time you need to come out of a posture, honor that and do come out. There's no need to stay in anything if it feels uncomfortable. Do close your eyes and just focus on the present moment. If you find your mind wandering about, thinking about different things, bring yourself back to your breath, the simplicity of it, the consistency of it. When you're ready, slowly walk yourself back up to a seated posture. Take a moment here for the spine to recalibrate. Come back in to your downward facing dog. As slowly as you want, as gently as your body needs. Just take a moment here and pause. Observe how you feel. Move if you need to. We'll begin to come into our next posture, coming down all the way to our belly, releasing whole body onto the mat. The tops of the feet are on the mat, placing the forearms in front of us in a cobra posture. Begin to lift the head and gaze forward. Feel free to close the eyes here, relax the shoulders, and see if on every inhalation, grow a little taller, and on every exhalation, can go a little deeper. Relax the mouth. Relax the tongue. Relax the jaw. Relax anything you might be holding on to. You can begin to extend the arms out, still with the forearms on the mat. Just releasing and coming into an easier posture to hold for an extended time. Again, just gazing forward, staying present, or bringing the eyes to close and tuning in to your breath. During a yin posture and a yin flow, as we surrender to the posture, emotions can start to come up. If that happens, welcome those emotions, allow them to be there, and surrender to them. Releasing the chin to the tops of the hands, bring the big toes together, and again, just observing how you feel after the mild back bend. We slowly begin to lift our body and shift back into Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward facing dog. This is a nice posture just to elongate and create a little more space in between our restorative yin postures. On your next inhale, we're going to come into our next yin posture, pigeon. So begin to lift your right leg, and exhale, draw the knee in towards the chest and link it up with your right wrist and your foot behind the left wrist. Extend that back leg out onto the mat. And if you need to use any support on the left side under the left hip, you can use a blanket or a pillow just to feel more balanced. And if you feel ready and comfortable, you can begin to release yourself closer to the mat. So first going down onto the forearms. And if you want, extending the arms out in front of you and releasing the forehead to the mat. If your body is not asking for a certain posture or a certain transition, remember to honor what you need and listen to your body. This posture is a deep hip release. And sometimes what can happen in these deep hip releases is that emotions can be triggered. Emotions that have been stored in our muscles can be triggered. Now, if that's the case, remember to accept the emotions, allow them to be there, and feel them. Feel them right through to their core. And when that emotion subsides, bring your focus back to your breath. The simplicity of the inhales and exhales, the consistency. Imagine your breath like a waterfall. And that it has just poured a tropical rainstorm. And so that waterfall is consistently flowing, and nothing is stopping it. Slowly begin to release the asana by coming up and kind of sitting over on the right side. And to lift, come onto the toes of the back foot and step the right foot back into your downward facing dog. Pause here for the feeling, the exhale. And when you're ready, we'll move onto the left side. So we'll begin by lifting the left leg on the inhale. And as you exhale, you draw the knee in. Line up the knee behind the left wrist and the foot in front of the right wrist. Always remembering you can use support here to balance yourself out, pillows or blankets. And that left shin, if there's any discomfort, trying to pull the shin closer to the body to make the stretch not as intense. When you're comfortable and ready, surrender to the posture and maybe allow the upper body to come down to the mat. And maybe even the hands extend out in front of you. Sometimes in Yin Flows, we release so much and surrender to the posture. It is quite easy to forget where we are, to almost fall asleep. So I invite you to make your breath audible by creating a slight restriction at the back of your throat and making your breath ocean-like. We're going to bring our intention back to our intention that we set at the beginning of our flow. If you can ponder and dwell a little bit on your intention, what does it bring you right now? What kind of emotions come up? Remember to confront those emotions, all of them, the bad, the ugly, the good, the sad, the funny, everything. We confront these emotions so that we can work through everything, the emotions, the time. as you allow yourself to release a little more in the posture. Create more space on your inhale. When you are ready, we'll slowly begin to come up. Again, like the other side, we'll lift the hip, bring the right toes on the mat, and extend that left leg on the mat in your downward facing dog. Take your time here. And again, observe how the asana has made you feel. Bend the legs and slowly drop the knees to the mat. We're coming into a thread the needle posture. We'll begin with the right side. So on your inhale, you lift the right hand, and then exhale, thread it behind the left, drawing it all the way on the mat, extending it and releasing it on the mat. Now the left hand can stay there for support in front of the face, or you can begin to bind behind the lower back. Remembering to listen to your body, and if you need to come out of any posture, you do that. Keeping the breath steady, allowing that to bring your focus back to the present moment. And back to the now. A yin practice can be very beneficial and very complementary to an active practice. A yin practice can allow our body to surrender and get deeper into a posture, getting into all the nooks and crannies, and even deeper into the muscles, to experience that deeper release. Observing how you feel here. Observing where your mind goes. And if you can almost train it to stay focused on one thing, the life force, the prana. If you want to take this time to check in with your body and scan your body for any areas that need a little more release. Now, like I said before, if you find yourself thinking about other things, maybe first ask yourself why. Why your mind is wandering. And then coming back to that moment, the present moment. When you're ready, we begin to release the right side, thread the needle by inhaling the right hand, arm up, placing it down. In between, we'll do a few rounds of cat and cow. Nice and gently, slowly. If there's something else you'd like to do in between, like another downward facing dog, feel free to do that, or a child's pose. But when you're ready, you begin to lift the left arm on the inhale, and you exhale, thread it behind the right, all the way on the mat. And the left hand can stay on the mat or threading behind the lower back. You can keep your eyes closed during this whole practice so that instead of focusing on what you see, focus more on the feeling. Now, during this practice, you found that a lot of emotions have come to the surface. As we know, there's nothing wrong with that. And we can use this time to confront the emotions, to deal with them. If you are trying to better understand the emotions, try not to. Allow them to just be there. To be there as a reminder that you are a human being having an emotional and spiritual experience. Again, we'll bring our focus back on our intention. And what our intention says about our practice, what our mind and our body and spirit needs in this moment. If your intention was to release and let go of things that were not serving you anymore, see if you can go a little bit deeper in that thought, in that feeling. When you're ready, we slowly begin to release the posture by lifting the left hand back straight up to the sky, placing it down on the mat, and going through a few rounds of cat and cow. At your own pace, as gently as you want. There's no rush here. When you're ready, cross the ankles and come sit down. Coming into butterfly posture by bringing the soles of the feet to touch and allowing the knees to fall to the side. Now, if you'd like to place any pillows or rolled up blankets underneath the knees, feel free to do so. And on your next inhale, elongate and sit up as tall as you can. And exhale as you fold over the legs by placing the hands on the tops of the feet and opening your feet up like a book. If you'd like to release the hands towards the side of your feet, you can do that as well, or remain here. Remember, on every inhalation, you create more space. And on every exhalation, you see if you can release a little more. You can surrender more to your mat, to the moment, and to your posture. If during your practice you have been very calm and relaxed and focused, see if you can drop into that feeling a little bit more. For the final few minutes of your practice. See if you can tap in to that deep relaxation just a little bit more. While your physical body surrenders. And if you need to come out of the posture earlier than usual, feel free to do so. But we will begin to come out of the posture, sitting back up slowly, and then dropping the knees to both sides, back and forth, at your own pace. Nice and slowly, we begin to release our back on the mat and hug the knees in towards the chest as you rock side to side, giving your lower back a nice little massage. Eyes can remain closed here. I'm going to bend the legs, creating the 90-degree angle of the legs as you reach for the outsides of the feet. Happy baby. Feel free to stay still, rock side to side by massaging the lower back. When you're ready, release the legs and your arms to the mat. I'm going to slightly tuck the chin. And take a big inhale here through your nose. Pause for a moment after the inhalation and open the mouth and sigh it out. The longest sigh you can ever imagine. And when you feel like you don't have any more breath, see if you can sigh a bit more. Thanking yourself, your practice. Until we meet again, namaste.